said so far, which is absolutely zilch, delete. It's a night painting. It was an incredible moonlight night at Broughton Mills. These paintings really reflect the awfulness of that particular period in our history.
Which period was that?
When you have a situation where the curator of one of the most fantastic archaeological and religious sites could be beheaded. I think it was 78, and he refused to cooperate with the revolutionaries, and they just cut his head off in front of his family. Not a particularly pleasant subject. Out in the grounds of the villa where we were staying in Provence were some olive trees which many years ago their roots had burnt away seemingly, but were now being resurrected, and because of the sculptural shape of these burnt roots, they made an interesting composition, and yet all the time I was doing it I felt a sort of feeling of guilt that I was using something so terrible for something that I wanted to reflect an arrangement of colours and tones and textures and emotions and pleasures. And at the same time, because of the comparative complexity of some of the shapes, I was starting to see other forms in the context of the canvas. Sticky, raw umber, cadmium reds creeping in, yellow ochres, a lot of yellow ochre. Or on the left hand side I see a landscape of smaller houses being crushed by like a tower block. That it does become a little pretentious and trying to find significance which has a Van Gogh factor. When you go to an exhibition and you see a painting like this, in the sense that it's paint on canvas or anthracite on canvas, that you start to query, what am I doing putting these pigments onto a piece of glued hessian? I agree with you insofar as you can take an academic approach to a piece of material, suppose you could apply a sort of analytical, what am I looking at? Well, I used to ask my pupils, what are you looking at? And they'd say, you know, a rocket, a bus, a boot, a Bedouin camp. But I said, no, what are you really looking at? And of course, what I wanted them to say was, I'm looking at 4 pieces of wood of a certain size, which interlock together, a piece of canvas, staple gun, and then I suppose you get on to, I'm also looking at an image which I interpret as being a Chinese potter's wheel,